with former President Donald Trump winning the New Hampshire primary yesterday. We'll talk about how the president and vice president spent the day and responded in a moment. But first, today, the vice president is in Manhattan Beach for a campaign reception. She'll be in Sacramento tomorrow, and we'll bring you updates on her trip live all day tomorrow. Now, also today, the United Auto Workers Union endorsed President Biden. He did walk that picket line, as you remember, at a moment where overall union membership is actually decreasing down to 10% of the workforce last year, according to a new Labor Department report. Cassie Simeon was in Manassas, Virginia yesterday to talk about all this with an update on what Harris and Biden were doing during the New Hampshire primary. Cassie, this is especially interesting with the overturning of Roe and many state ballot measures. Biden and Harris are prioritizing abortion as a key campaign issue, right?
Well, Amrit, we saw the vice president kick off a reproductive rights tour Monday in Wisconsin. The president convened a roundtable on the issue Monday as well. Tuesday, the pair put out a clear message that abortion rights are on the ballot in November. Just one day after the 51st anniversary of Roe v. Wade, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris kicked off their first joint campaign event of the year, focusing on their likely 2024 opponent, former President Donald Trump, and the issue of abortion access.
Past year, Trump himself endorsed a federal ban promising to lead the charge. God love him. And that means even if you live in a state where extremist Republicans are not in charge of the state government, your right to choose, your right to privacy is still at risk. But as long as I have power of the presidency, know this: if Congress were to pass a national abortion ban, I will veto it.
He intended for them to take your freedoms. He is the architect of this health care crisis. And he is not done, and he is not done, and the extremists are not done.
The president has struggled to break through to voters with his message on the economy, but Congresswoman Joyce Beatty of Ohio says the message of needing to safeguard abortion rights is being heard loud and clear.
When you go out and you talk to women and you talk about women's reproductive rights, the audience lights up. They're prepared to fight. We did it for health care when there was an attack on women having pre-existing conditions. Attacking Roe is attacking women, and we're all energized.
Biden was interrupted several times by protesters demanding a ceasefire in the war between Israel and Hamas. Both Israel and Biden oppose a ceasefire.
Jill and I had a chance to sit down.
In the 2 years since the Supreme Court ended the constitutional right to an abortion, abortion has been on the ballot in states such as California, Ohio, and Kansas, generating a huge turnout from supporters of abortion rights. One Biden supporter who disagrees with his approach to a ceasefire in Gaza said she thinks so.
My sister lives in Texas. I worry about her every single day. She is of birthing age, and so I worry about if something happens to her all the time. And so none of us are safe, and we cannot take this moment lightly. We are literally fighting for our rights and our right to reproduce in the way that we choose that is beneficial to our families.
Republican National Chairwoman Ronna McDaniels put out a statement that said Republicans stand with unborn children while Democrats push an extreme abortion agenda. The issue has proved motivating for voters in the last 2 years, Amrit, and it's going to play heavily into 2024.
You're absolutely right, Cassie. I mean, what we're seeing is a pivot to the general election, and those speeches that you just showed us are a big part of it for the Biden-Harris campaign. Thank you so much, Cassie Simeon in Washington, D.C.